Hello, and welcome to another webcast brought to you by Couchbase. Today, we are talking with Vigyan Kaushik. He's the co-founder and CEO of Quantic, and he's joined by Chris Harris, Vice President of Field Engineering at Couchbase. And I'm really excited for their conversation today. We're going to learn a lot about Quantic as a company and their background, how they came to know and partner with Couchbase, how they were able to improve product performance using Couchbase. And then, we might get into some conversation about the future and what that might hold for both companies. So super excited to have you both here. V, thank you so much for being our special guest. And we will kick it off to Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And V, it's really a pleasure to have you, and I really appreciate you taking the time here today to spend the next half an hour with us here at Couchbase and our community. So to me, obviously, we've had a great chance to speak beforehand and talk over the really interesting innovation that Quantic is doing. But for our audience, it would be really good for maybe to give us a little bit of an overview of Quantic and the really interesting point of sale and retail journey that you've been on.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you, Chris and Couchbase team, for having me here. It has been an interesting journey for us at Quantic. I'm just going to give you a little kind of story how we all started with Quantic to kind of set the context. So me and my wife started a restaurant. We kind of grew the restaurant business to 3 different locations, and we were struggling with point of sale that we were using. We tried a couple of them, including one cloud-based, and we both are from IT and industry software development background. So we decided to kind of write our own application, and this is how Quantic was born in 2015. Since then, the product has evolved as not only a restaurant point of sale, but it has catered to different other verticals, a number of different retail establishments that we are serving today. Overall, as a company, we got about 5,000 installs across the country, and we got a few in UK as well now. So we have some presence internationally as well. We are very excited to have what we have built, and it's just been a very interesting journey. There's a lot to learn every day, and we're excited to take Quantic to wherever we can, and we're looking forward to a bright future ahead of us.
Well, that's super exciting, especially having hearing about you and your wife obviously starting out the business from almost the other side, being one of your own customers and understanding the pain that the customers kind of go through with a point of sale, and what really needs to happen to smooth out that experience and do some really interesting innovation. Obviously, you've been rolling that out, and it's a mission critical application, as I know, and probably everybody on this webcast knows, right? Is that in order for me to have the customer to have a great experience, that final piece of the transaction has to be smooth and has to be critical for the whole experience. Obviously, you've come from a technology background yourself, so what made you kind of look at Couchbase as a technology to begin with?
Well, it was one of those situations where you build your initial application with the minimal viable product, and we chose the path of REST APIs and the mobile application, and we got some challenges down the road when we started increasing our customer base. After having a few hundred customers, we started realizing the original database that we chosen as a primary storage for us for all the data wasn't really serving the need of what we were looking for, and we were really interested to something that we could take off the shelf and use that as a as a mobile and cloud syncing product. And that's where we started hunting for the right solution for us. And after some digging, we kind of came to a couple of solutions that we were really interested in. And we did little POC on 2 solutions that we finally chose, and Couchbase seemed to be the winner of those 2. And this is how we brought Couchbase to our platform, and has been a great experience and great journey since then.
Oh, that's great to hear. And obviously, you talked briefly there, and it's as you think about it, a point of sale is an edge device, right? That you need to be always available, no matter kind of what happens in the environment. You've got to take that transaction. So, if you look at Couchbase Mobile, which I know you're heavily investigated and use in production today, kind of what's the what in terms of a general mobile solution, what do you look for in that experience as a software package?
So when you build a mobile app, especially from a developer and end user perspective, there are a couple of things that are really key to the app. Is that you have a good response time. So you need to be able to compute. You really wanted to process as much as you can on the local side, which kind of some people may not agree to that, you want to process in cloud. But for us, we process a lot of transactions. Just to kind of give you an idea, on the busy or peak time, we process anywhere 15 to 20,000 transactions per second. Our average transaction volume today, and this is all on Couchbase, is about 10,000 transactions per second. When you are doing that many transactions, you obviously want to make sure that you provide a good end user experience, and having the local database is always kind of the preferred solution, at least for our solution, where we don't have to rely on cloud computing. We can compute anything that we want locally on the device, and then we can do the aftermath, and we can sync the data back to the cloud. And that's where the Couchbase sync really helped us from a mobile to cloud transactions. And we do a lot of these mission critical transactions, so we can't be we can't be down completely, in the sense like we have to compute and we have to process transactions even without internet. And that's where I think the whole mobile syncing helped a lot. That has been a really interesting part of, and that was one of our decision-making point when we were looking for a NoSQL solution, and Couchbase did that pretty well.
That's great to hear that we're at Couchbase spend a lot of our time from a technology point of view, making sure that we have that almost more offline first architecture, right? Which is what you really talked about there, right? The ability to make sure the application continues to operate, even if, although my children probably don't quite realize the internet can go down, right? In the world, so you're in remote locations, you've got all sorts of things happening around you, and in the stores, you can't control that environment, right? So you have to make sure, as you correctly point out, that the application continues to operate, take transactions, even if the internet is not available at a period of time. And then you've been, obviously you mentioned they're synchronizing it up to the cloud, and in your journey, you've been able to obviously work with us for a number of years now, but being able to then start to look at Capella, and how's that experience been for you?
Right. Well, so we started with a different flavor of Couchbase. We have gone through the enterprise, the community, and Capella. So our developers have a lot of different type of, we obviously software is a software. It's going to have its own challenges. So I wouldn't say that everything works 100% of the time. But it's just like one of those things where you start with with something as a prototype and you have limited knowledge of the database or of the solution. And this is how we got into it. We tried community, we tried enterprise, but again, one thing that we obviously, being a growth company, we're growing over 100% every year, and we're processing about $2 billion for our sales partners every year. So we're kind of heavily focused on how we can provide a solution that can be 100% up all the time, and it has less hiccups and challenges, especially from an SLA and outages standpoint. So we obviously were self-managing it in the past, and when it came down to we're growing now, and we need to scale operations, and self-managing will be a little bit of a challenge, and we can't scale with the pace that we need to. So we ended up actually trying out Capella, and I think we may have been in an early stage of Capella. If not the first few customers, we definitely were early on. We have seen some changes since then. And it was pretty good solution for us to move on to, from migration to everything else that we have done. Has been pretty good, and we like the fact that we have a lot more time now to manage other things in our infrastructure than worrying about the database. And obviously, database is everything. So if it goes down, you're done. So we are very happy with the fact that Capella is now our database, and we are able to really focus on other things, not so much of database challenges and issues. And the scalability part of the Capella is really kind of what drove us towards a managed solution, is because if you need more nodes, we need to do something temporarily. There are a lot of different options, which kind of nice to have. But AWS did pretty good job for us with self-managed as well, but it was like a lot more work for us to be able to add and remove clusters, the nodes from the cluster, versus everything is done at the same time within same console. It's just a lot easier. So that was kind of really behind why we chose to migrate to Capella.
Well, that journey is a journey that we've seen many of our customers taking it, and it's obviously been a successful journey for you, and you're going to, I'm sure, can continue to have success in that journey. But starting off with the developers, giving them that experience, particularly in the community, where you were back then, in terms of, hey, I need a place to do some innovation, do an MVP to get to market, explore that, not really kind of understanding or seeing where the application is going to go, and having that level of innovation is what we see that one of the values of the community, and why we have that focus around the developer experience to make sure that people can get started as quickly as possible. And as you talked about, right, then you can go from, as you scale, we kind of try to make sure that we scale with you. So we have now you're in production, as you say, you're in a number of different retailers now, and you're taking a large volume of transactions. You want to focus on making sure you're doing innovation that's part of your application, right? I mean, proving that point of sale experience, not writing code to do synchronization or managing databases, right? We'll more than happily help you out with that part of the solution. And you've grown with that, and I would have thought, like every other industry out there, there's a lot of innovation happening in the point of sale space. Do you want to give the audience a little bit of kind of insight in terms of what you're seeing and the sort of innovation that Quantic is up to?
Yeah, of course. So one thing that obviously we all are experiencing after cloud computing is there's a whole lot of data, and everybody is trying to figure out what can you do with this data. So obviously there are a lot of generative AI thoughts that are out there. There are a lot of different things happening with machine learning. So we took a project a few months ago where we're actually leveraging Couchbase for, obviously it's our primary storage. So we're also taking it to our machine learning and AI project that we are doing today for our support resources. So we're actually creating generative AI that will help our support team as well as our customers, partners, to be able to provide a quick and easy way to be able to ask at least some of the basic questions and things like that. So we, as a point of sale company, we collect a lot of data. We have a data from beginning of the transactions to the end of, and there are a lot of different interactions that are happening throughout that process. So we are obviously, we're kind of looking at some of that data and how can we help our customers to be able to give them information that they need. We work with a lot of small businesses, and the last thing that you find as a challenge, especially in our past life as well, when we were restaurant operator, it's kind of hard to find time. Although although you know what you need, but it's kind of hard to sit in front of the computer and really focusing on the reporting and things like that, coming up with the predictions. And some of those challenges are like you always see in the small business, because your focus is always on the operational side of the business. So anything that you can get out of the software that you're using, or any tools that you're using that can provide you more like a simplified version of the reporting, or something that is easy to be able to see on your phone or on your watch, and that's kind of really where we're heading with this project, is that we want to push the information that our customers can really use, whether they're trying to learn about a feature of the product, or they want to use a feature that they like, or they're running into a problem that they need a quick solution. So that's kind of where our next phase of Quantic innovation is kind of focused on with Couchbase database.
No, that's very much aligned to the kind of innovation that we're doing, and obviously we've had a chance to explore that together, where we've looked at how do you take AI not just as a prediction, but as all the way from that experience from the edge, as you pointed out, being able to then have that, in your case, point of sale experience to the users, being able to interact with the users in a very different way in which you do today, so that they can kind of interact with you in a more of a conversational manner. You provide kind of guidance to that user through the AI on the edge device, and then being able to then search for that meaningful data based upon kind of the integration with LLMs, being able to then also bring in vector search, being able to bring in large volumes of data. As you correctly point out, you need to look at your entire history of your data, being able to train that model in the right way. And that's something in which we're obviously as a data platform providing you as one of our customers, but we're also looking at leveraging the sorts of things that we're doing, that you're doing around developer efficiencies, right? So being able to help you with to improve the innovation and speed you're developing applications by having a what we call Capella IQ, which is the developers using the LLM to talk back and to us and optimize queries, and being able to then give you the most optimized SQL query for your application, being able to help you generate generate code for your particular use case. So we're not only providing you that ability to build the next generation of adaptive applications, but we're working with you to improve the developer efficiency. So sounds like you're trying to do the same thing with your customers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the predictive query piece that you bring in is kind of really important, because as a developer, and especially if you're talking about the developers who are writing these queries and things like that, they're like any help that you can provide them. And in fact, like some of the simplest stuff, like some of the indexing and all that, like it is a very, very helpful. So if you have a way to really be able to get something out of your database that is very easy to use, it helps a lot. And that's kind of really what we leverage as well. Like we like some of the stuff that you have in the console, and where you can get some of the index optimizers and things like that. Those are really like very, very helpful. So yeah, so we're actually we're developing. We have a long way to go, like everybody else. It's just like we're learning. Our models are getting trained. I mean, we're obviously feeding a lot of information to them, but we're really looking forward to it. This is an exciting part of what Quantic is doing now, is to be able to bring a little brain inside the point of sale.
That's so I'm super excited to be on the journey with you. And as I say, we briefly talked about it. I started my career off in point of sale world, so it's to me something that I'm personally very interested in, and I'm looking forward to seeing the continued innovation that you're bringing to market, and the experience that not only, as you say, in the UK, but in the US, but also now in the UK where I'm based. So I'm sure I'll see more and more Quantic around, as myself and my family are out there in restaurants and enjoying our lunch and weekends.
Yeah, for sure. No, we're very excited about that as well. It's just like it's our first project outside of US, and we're really interested to see a different dynamics. But it has been pretty good. The one other thing about the database that I really kind of like about the Couchbase is the ability to replicate data across data centers. And that actually helps when you are looking at some of them, especially like if there are developers who are kind of interested or thinking like, how can they actually have less latency issues with the application? Because if you're like on AWS or any other cloud platform, so one of the things that's obviously is important is your bandwidth. Like, you, even if you can serve data quickly, you still want to make sure that you're not really always reaching out to the server that's in a different part of the world. So you always want to bring that data local to you. And with one of the things that the whole replication piece is that, I mean, you still have to use the bandwidth to replicate data, but you can minimize the impact of the amount of bandwidth that you will use if you're doing everything cross borders. So it just helps a lot from that perspective. When we were during our development time, I remember some of these challenges, that were syncing data to another a data center, and the whole initial load of syncing is gonna, it was taking time and all that. I was just like, how do we speed it up? And that's where we started localizing it to a certain degree, and that helped a lot.
Yeah, that's something in which we've obviously focused on a lot. Where as we kind of think about the entire solution that you have there, right? You have control of the ability to decide what data you're synchronizing off the point of sale itself, right? As you talked about at the beginning, you've been able to control when you synchronize, make sure you have that great customer experience. So, but you can synchronize to your local region, right? Your local cloud region with Capella, and in the US, depending on as you grow out into more and more wider into the US and across different states, you'll be able to obviously take advantage of the fact that there's different data centers in the cloud in different parts of the US. So make sure that that is optimized. And now that you've grown into the UK, now you can synchronize that data from the US to the UK, but you can also have complete control over that, right? You can decide what data you want to send, and some of it will be appropriate to send, some of it will be, something in which, from a restriction, from a compliance perspective, you'd want to
For sure.
keep in certain countries, right? And we've deliberately and very strategically added regions around the world, right, to allow people like yourselves to be able to then, explore new countries, grow out the new applications, and then at the click of a button inside Capella, be able to say, I want a similar cluster that I have today in a new country, right, and allow you to expand into maybe the rest of Europe or into Asia, or as the future of Quantic will, I'm sure, continue to grow at the rapid pace that you're doing today around the world. You'll be able to do that at the right cost for you, right? So you can add and scale that based upon your customer demand, and have complete control of that from a technical point of view, that replication and that cloud spend.
Yeah, for sure. And the filtration is a very important thing that you bring up. I think you always, you want to have control over data, especially with local compliance and governance rules. If you don't need to take certain set of data, you don't have to. And that filtration is a really good mechanism. And I'm glad that, it's available there for sure. Yeah, that's a great feature.
Yeah. Just saying, then, as you go forward, you'll be able to, the right data as you make sense to bring together across all of your Capella instances, and to be able to then feed into your training models, right? And then you'll be able to drive more innovation and some really interactive and innovative AI experiences, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's the hope. I mean, as I said earlier, like being a small business owner, the best or the quick reporting and the best detailed view that you can get, quickly is what you're looking for, and that's kind of really what our intention is behind this innovation. Is that we, as we learned during our days, we want our small business customer to be able to view information quickly, to be able to see and make some decisions, and that's where we want to help them with the data that we're collecting, and the data that we have is that, and hey, if you need to send somebody a little early, just to save labor costs, you can, and here's the impact if you don't. So some of those things are really interesting, and there's a lot that's coming in Quantic down the road. Where this year is a full pack with our product innovation roadmap. So we're excited to bring a lot of the interesting stuff in the market, and kind of continue to learn the small business operations, and kind of continue to focus on that.
I'm excited to be a partner with you, and really work with you on the kind of next phase of your rollout of Quantic, and kind of partner with you as you grow around the world and into more retails, and drive really cutting edge innovation in the space. So thank you for your partnership and everything that we do together.
Yeah, no, thank you as well. It's been a great partnership.
Perfect. Appreciate your time, V, and I'll hand it back over.
Great, thank you. I really appreciate the conversation today, V. Thanks so much for being with us. Chris, as always, for doing everything that you do for the field and for our customers. I wanted to just alert you quickly to our docs section. Please don't leave without checking that out. We have the Quantic case study. We have the Quantic website on there if you are interested in updating your POS systems. Sometimes we get those folks on here too. I also put in the mobile sync demos. I thought that might be interesting. I know V mentioned that. Mark Gamble and Wayne Carter on our team put together some mobile sync demos. If you're interested in checking those out, those are pretty cool to see how those were built, to understand a little bit more about our mobile functionality as well. And final reminder, we have a January 23rd and 24th webcast on JSON data modeling. It's part of a two-part series. We're going to do the first one January 23rd and 24th, and then a second deeper dive in February, at the end of February. So please look out for that, and I hope to see you at a future webcast. Have a wonderful day, and take care, everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks very much. Thanks, everybody.